Namco. Transcending history and the world, a tale of soul and swords, eternally retold.
Best intro movie ever. Woo! God, I love that song. Anyway, hey guys, Johnny Crypt 2000 here, and welcome to my latest Let's Play on a fighting game. That's right. So today we're doing Soul Blade, otherwise known as Soul Edge in the arcade version. And yeah, holy crap, we're going to 3D games. Woo! Who would have thought? So anyway, here we have, I'm playing as Mitsurugi. Now, I will say this at the top, I'll just say this right freaking now. I am not the best player of Soul Blade. Matter of fact, I die a lot in this playthrough. That's right, I said it. I die a lot. You're not gonna see them because I edit them out ever so eloquently. But yeah, after a certain point, you guys will start to notice that I start losing pretty bad once I get to Sophia. But that's just the nature of this game. I'm not particularly a big fan of like weapon-based fighters. So, the Soul Calibur series, The Last Blade, Samurai Showdown. No, don't get me wrong, I love those games, but I'm not particularly good at them. Not exactly sure why. But, yeah, this is Soul Blade. This was on the original PlayStation. I'm playing it on the original PlayStation, and it was definitely one of the best fighting games to have come out for the system. Now, this game came out in 1997 for the PS1. It actually came out in 1996 for the arcades. And this was damn impressive when it first came out. I mean, it's still impressive when you consider that this is on the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. This looks amazing. And the fact that the backgrounds are in full 3D, so it's not that weird Tekken, 3D that I don't like. I mentioned it before in some of my playthroughs. I think in Plasma Sword. Oh, holy crap, this isn't the first 3D fighting game I ever played. It's the first Namco 3D fighting game that I've played, though, so maybe that's where I got confused. But as you guys can see there, the 3D is, the backgrounds are in, full 3D. It's awesome. And, the graphics are amazing. Now, this doesn't run quite as fast as something like Tekken, but in my opinion, it doesn't even matter. You can't even tell. Because the fighting in this game is, as you guys will probably know when compared to something like Tekken, is a little bit more technical. So you can't just smash the button like crazy. You actually have to know what you're doing. So just to lay out the controls, I guess, for those who have never played a Soul Calibur game or who haven't played this game in particular, you have your vertical cut, you have your horizontal cut, you have a guard button, and you have your kick button. Obviously, you have to use it, you know, combos and stuff like that. You have to use in conjunction with the control pad or the directional pad, and just different combinations and stuff like that. Now, like I said, I'm not the best at this game, so you'll see me do a lot of the same combinations over and over again. I do try to use other combos with Mitsurugi, but I'm not, like I said, I don't have that much experience with him, so I can't guarantee that you'll see very advanced tricks. And crap, she like knocked me out of my super awesome cutting move right there. Now, if you do connect with that, you actually can take out a crap ton of your opponent's life. I actually do that later on, actually, in a moment where I need it the most. Now, as you guys can see there at the top of the screen, you do have a separate meter besides your health meter. That meter, I'm just going to call it a weapon meter. I can't remember right now what exactly it's called, but essentially what it is that essentially what it does is that it's your weapon gauge, and let me see if I can. Yeah, so it's sort of like how should I explain it? I'm reading straight from the book, by the way, so like I had to find it because I can't explain that gauge very well without it. As you guys can see, every time that my opponent blocks, that gauge goes down. So as you guys can imagine, the more that you block, the more that it goes down, and after a while, I believe he can't use the weapon anymore. Oh, here it goes. So I'm gonna read this just straight out of the book, so you guys know. The weapon gauge is the small meter under the player's health meter. You can use the critical edge special attack when the gauge has flames surrounding it. Use caution when you use the critical edge or when you guard against your opponent's attack. The gauge will show a decrease after each use. If you try to guard when the gauge shows 0, your weapon will be tossed away. However, the weapon gauge will regain limited energy in the next round, at which time your lost weapon will be restored. So yeah, I was right. I didn't show it in this LP though, obviously, otherwise I would have mentioned it. But after a while, if you lose your weapon, you can only fight using like a regular attacks or whatever. And if I remember correctly, there's not that big of a difference between people, so it's kind of bland, but it's there. It's a bit of a technique, and that's what this entire series really prides itself, is just a lot of technique, a lot of strategy, which I really like. And look at that Valdo. Valdo's weird, man. For any of you Soul Calibur people, you know what I mean. He's just strange. I do remember when this game first came out, a lot of the advertisements were showing him. And I remember being a small kid and reading an issue, I think it was of Game Fan. That's right, going old school. Game Fan. Anybody remember that? Game Fan? Any Game Fan fans left? Game Fan fans? And I saw a picture of advertising this game, Soul Blade, for the PlayStation, and they showed a picture of Valdo. He was in the front. He was like I don't know exactly if he was the mascot or whatever, but I do remember knowing of Valdo, even though I had never played this game, and he just looked weird. I mean, he still looks weird, but, you know, back then, when this game first came out, nobody knew who he was. Very strange. Very strange. Really has that S&M thing going on. And here we go, Sophithia. Sophithia is a little... She uses very naughty moves, as you guys will see soon enough. But this is the point in the Let's Play where I just start losing a lot. I do lose to Sophia. Well, pretty much every person after this I'm gonna lose, and there it is. You can't tell me that's innocent. Come on now. Why couldn't Valdo do that move? Just jump on. I mean, I'm not saying that I would want that. I'm just saying, why does the chick with the, you know, never mind. Just digging my hole even deeper. So yeah, Sophithia definitely. I find that with this game, there's definitely a sharp, not a learning curve, a difficulty spike after a certain amount of people. You know, after you beat a certain amount of people, especially towards the end. And this, for me, in this playthrough at least, this was it. When I got to Sophithia, the difficulty for me just kind of spiked. By the way, for Sophithia, I don't think it makes that much sense for her weapon gauge to go down, especially since she has her own shield. But that's just me being nitpicky. And... booyah. That is one thing that really annoys me about this game, is that when you get up, you're facing completely the wrong way. Very, very aggravating. And there she goes, putting her crotch up to my face. So yeah, this is Soul Blade. As I mentioned before, it was originally known as Soul Edge. And then you guys would probably be more familiar with the sequel, which is Soul Calibur. And yes, I will be playing Soul Calibur soon enough. I pretty much own every Soul Calibur game. Well, I shouldn't say that. I own Soul Blade. Obviously, you guys are seeing it. For the PlayStation, I own Soul Calibur. I own Soul Calibur 2. I own Soul Calibur 3. And Soul Calibur 4. I haven't played Soul Calibur 5 yet, though from what I hear, it's not all that great anyway, so yeah, there's actually been 6 games in the entire series. Well, 6 main games. I do remember there being a Wii game, but that wasn't very well received, so I haven't checked that out. I may check it out, but I don't, like I said, the Soul Calibur, Soul Blade, Soul Edge, whatever you want to call it, the Soul Calibur series, I'm just going to call it, isn't particularly one of my favorite ones. I mean, I love it, but it's not one that I follow very, very closely, if that makes sense. So this is Siegfried. Siegfried, this will probably be the most normal you'll ever see him. Later on in the series, in the Soul Calibur series, he gets, how should I put it, possessed. So this is actually the most normal he's gonna look. Which is kind of weird, seeing him like look, like this, like a regular knight, after coming back from playing things like Soul Calibur and Soul Calibur 2 and things like that, when he's possessed by the nightmare.
The grueling battle ended with the victory of Mitsurugi. You win.
And one of the things that you have to understand about this game is that every character has its strengths and weaknesses. Obviously, that's one of the things that made this game stand out. For example, Mitsurugi here, I have a katana, and I'm doing a lot of moves that help me do that. And holy crap, that was so close. I should have kicked him out. And what the crap? Look at that. Look at how much health that took away from me. Siegfried, of course, has a more blunt, more not aggressive, but, and this is bullcrap. Watch. You guys watching? Wait for it. Bullcrap. Look at his health. He should have been done. Like I said, I don't know what happens after a while with me in this game, but after a while, I just start losing. I know there's gonna be some of you out there saying, "Oh man, you suck." And to that, good sir, I say, suck it, because I'm not that great at this game, but I still want to show it off because it's in my collection. And I know that there's been some of you out there have been asking me how many more fighting games I'm gonna do. And I'm going to do a lot. I have a lot of fighting games. As I said before, and I'm going to say it again, I'm not the greatest at all of them, as you guys can clearly see here. But I do want to show them off. But as I was saying before, every character has their own unique fighting style. And I think that this game, more so than other games, I believe, or in my opinion rather, does it very, very well. So for example, with something like Tekken. Tekken does have a lot of, their own fighting styles and things like that. But I feel like in this series in particular, it's more pronounced, the differences between all of them. Just because every character has, different fighting style, and they also have their own different weapon. So every weapon obviously is wielded a different way. So it's gonna make things different, which is really great. I do find that that's one of the things that made this game easily stand out. And booyah! That's where I was talking about. Right there. Look at that. Straight up lightsaber. So as you guys can see there, that was my super ultra awesome mega looking special move. It takes a while for it to pull off, but if you do, holy crap, it does a lot of damage. And Rock, I hate Rock. Rock is, I feel like Rock is one of those characters that really kind of went nowhere after this game. He was in this game, but if I remember correctly, he wasn't. Well, I think he was in Soul Calibur, but he missed out in Soul Calibur 2, and then after that, he kind of just he sort of became one of those secret characters that you unlock, but you don't really pay much attention to, honestly. Astaroth and Necrid from Soul Calibur 2 kind of took his place. So after this game, he kind of just, he kind of just went to the side. which is kind of a shame, I think. I mean, at least with this outfit, I don't like his normal outfit where he's wearing that bear thing on his head. But I think with this outfit, I think he's kind of cool. I mean, he's not my favorite character by any means. In fact, I hate him because he beat the crap out of me in this playthrough. But you know, it's kind of sad because I don't know. He was kind of just one of those characters that got forgotten after the first game that he was in. And that's true for a couple more characters actually, which I will be pointing out. That's the thing with the Soul Calibur series, I find, is that there's just a vast amount of characters, very interesting characters, really. Some more interesting than others, so it's kind of hard to just keep all of them in one game. And look at this, look at this, look at my health. Look at how much health that took away from me. It's crazy. And of course he beat me. I will say this though, the grass over there on the stage looks like crap now, but back in the day, man, it looked awesome. For PlayStation at least, like looking like individual blades of grass, that looked amazing. Let me tell you. And booyah! Shut up, Brock. Some of you guys may be wondering why I'm not doing Edge Master mode. For those of you who don't know, there is a mode called Edge Master mode, which is pretty much like it's sort of, how should I say, sort of like a story mode, you know. It's certainly the most interesting one-player mode that you can get from a fighting game, really. Think of it as sort of like the World Tour mode in Street Fighter Alpha 3 for the Dreamcast, or I think it was also available for the PlayStation, I'm not exactly sure. And obviously the later Soul Calibur games and things like that. It's definitely interesting, but I unfortunately won't be doing it because, as I said before, this isn't particularly one of my favorite games to play. I'm not that experienced in it, unfortunately. So I'm not going to make you guys suffer by me going through a mode that I have no idea how it works. Or I'm not very good at, rather. Anyway, this is Hwang. Hwang, obviously by his name, is Korean. And really, this is again one of those characters that really just kind of didn't go anywhere. He sort of got replaced by Young Sung in Soul Calibur 2. So, he did return in Soul Calibur, I do remember that, but after Soul Calibur 2, he kind of just got replaced. So, for example, in Soul Calibur 3 and Soul Calibur 3, he kind of just became a secret character, I believe. Yeah, he was, now that I remember correctly, he became a bonus character, which is kind of sad, you know, because in this game he was made out to be the sort of Mitsurugi's rival, almost. And, it's sort of almost like saying, after Street Fighter 2, Ken became a bonus character, you know, an unlockable character. So that's sort of like what happened with Hwang, unfortunately. He had a big part in this game, but afterwards he kind of just, you know, he just became a secret bonus character that nobody really cares about. As you guys can see there, I know it took me a while to explain it, but yes, you do have ring outs. The cool thing about this game is that some of these levels, in particularly the last level, really makes better use of that ring out sort of concept. Now, games like Virtua Fighter, I'm drawing a blank here because that's pretty much the one that everybody thinks of when they think of ring outs. But so something like Virtua Fighter, they do have ring outs. This certainly wasn't a new concept in fighting games at this point. But, I mean, for God's sakes, it was also in Real Bout Fatal Fury. So, the concept of a ring out is no different. If you know, push your opponent off the edge and they go out, obviously they'll lose. But in this game, I thought it was implemented just a little bit better because, at least in some instances, it makes sense. And in levels like this, it doesn't make sense. But in another level, especially against one of the boss characters later on, you're actually on a raft that's floating in the water. So obviously if you push them out, it makes sense that they'll lose because they get jumped in the water. In something like this, though, it doesn't make all that much sense. You know, speaking from a realistic standpoint, what's stopping the guy from just coming back in and fighting some more? But at least they tried. They would actually get a lot better later on in the series. So this is sort of like where it started from. And as you guys can also see, graphically it's also very, very impressive because there's actual real-time lighting, as you guys can see there. We started off in the daytime, and then it slowly progressed to night, and then, you know, really, really impressive. This game is definitely one of the best-looking PlayStation games out there, in my opinion. And holy crap, here we go. This is Cervantes. And here's what I was talking about here. This is a raft that we're floating on, and there's water all around us. And don't worry, I will be going in there. Or, can't remember if I go in there, but I know I push him in there at one point. So at least, in this sense, it does make sense. Now, Cervantes is a cheap bastard, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, he has 2 swords, so he has a crazy amount of range. His combos are very hard to avoid. And, you know, he just suffers from boss syndrome, really. He's very tough, and all you can do is just sit there and take it. Now, the one thing that I will say about this game is that you really, really need to learn how to do the attack when they're on the floor. So when you jump up and you strike, you know, you hit them one more time when they're on the floor. I will highly suggest that you learn how to do that immediately, because that really makes a difference. And you guys will see that here and in the second boss, or the final boss. That can make a big difference in beating this game. So Cervantes actually would become a staple later on in the Soul Calibur series. He is the boss character here, but in later series he's kind of just like a, you know, like one of the normal characters, which I really like. He's a really cool character. One of the coolest, I guess, pirate type characters. If you can think of others, you have that guy from World Heroes, whose name is Captain Kidd, is it? Captain Kidd, and then you also have B. Jenny from Mark of the Wolves. Who I hate to say it, Cervantes, you're cool, you're my dog, but I have to give the sexy factor to B. Jenny. Just saying. So as you guys can see there, that's the move that I was talking about. Just jump up and strike him down one more time when he's on the floor. And that should make things a lot easier. And I try to hit him one more time, but of course wouldn't let me. Hi-ya! Nope. And if you thought that was the final boss, ha ha ha! No, that was not. If you know anything about the Soul Calibur series, there always has to be a supernatural final boss character that shines and is somewhat made out of fire. Always, always. So now we're fighting Soul Edge, and this stage rather, is really trippy, but I actually really like it. Don't know exactly what we're fighting on. It's just like this clear glass thing. And same as before, you really, really want to use your down attack. I tried to do that there, but I didn't pull it off very well. So you really want to use that move right there that I was trying to, but he moved out the way, because that will make a world of difference. Now this guy does fight similarly to Cervantes. Obviously he has the 2 swords thing going on, but you know, obviously he's a little tougher, he's a little faster. I'm trying to remember, I don't think he actually does the whole thing where he yeah, I don't think he does he changes his style like someone like Inferno from the later series, which I think he's the same person if I remember correctly. And yeah, he completely owned me that part. I will say this, Soul Edge is pretty cool, but I think because of the graphics limitation, he kind of comes off looking a bit goofy, kind of like a knockoff Ghost Rider in my opinion. I think if this game were to be re-released with like an HD remix or whatever, I think that they could be able to pull it off. You know, him looking a little cooler, but because of the graphic limitations, he just kind of looks a bit goofy. And booyah! Now, I will say this game actually came out around the same time as Tekken 2, I believe. I think it was Tekken 2. I mean, that's what I remember. The case here, the actual case does make mention of Tekken 3, but I think it was more of an announcement made after the fact. Because I do remember the magazine ads in the, like I said, I first heard about this game in magazines like GamePro and GameFan. I do remember this game coming out at the same time as Tekken 2, and let me just say, this game looked 10 times better than Tekken 2. And booyah, Soul Edge. Screw you! Now here's an interesting bit. The ending for Mitsurugi does have this nifty little mini game where you have to dodge a bullet. As you guys will see here, once it's done loading. Man, I don't remember the. Okay, here we go. This is Soul Edge. The one I've been searching for can't be. Hiya! Such a thing as this. That fell really, really slowly. So anyway, this is the part where we face off against a gunsman. No matter how strong the rifle is, it is no match for my sword. Now you guys can read this, but essentially what's going to happen is that we switch to a first-person view, which when I first played this game, I thought it was genius. And what we're trying to do is avoid the bullet and get close to him and slash him to pieces. But for this playthrough, I had actually forgotten about this part, and I was too slow. But essentially, you're not missing much. I was debating whether I should re-record it to show me winning, but you really aren't missing much. I mean, you can go on YouTube and search how this, the different ending. The only thing that's different about the ending is that he goes up to the person, you press the attack button, and you slash it down, and you kill the person, and he's just like, nothing will beat my sword. And as you guys can see here, the only difference here is that he just says that I have to look for a better sword. That's it. There's no big difference. You guys can look it up yourself. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, I wanted to show the footage, and in fact, what happened was that I pressed the left button, and he didn't move. I don't know if it was because I pressed it too late or whatever. I wasn't expecting it to start that fast. But I do remember the first time I beat him, it wasn't that hard. I mean, I could do it, no problem. But again, I just thought it was funny seeing Mitsurugi get shot. So anyway, guys, that was it for Soul Edge, or Soul Blade, rather. Soul Edge is the arcade version. Yeah, if you have a PlayStation, if you're a fan of fighting games, I highly suggest that you get this because it is awesome. It's an amazing game. It's great to have for your PlayStation library. You know, if you're a fan of Soul Calibur, then you definitely owe it to yourself to play this game. At least give it a try. It's kind of cool to see where a series, you know, where a particular series gets its start. So I highly suggest it that you go out and find a copy. I don't think that they're all that expensive. I mean, I found mine for about $4 to kind of give you an idea of just how cheap this game is nowadays. So yeah, if you can, go out and get it. I really, really highly suggest it. If anything, just because it's an awesome game by itself. It's a little bit stiffer than later Soul Calibur games, but I also feel that that kind of makes things a little bit more, like you have to be more strategic than in later Soul Calibur games, where you can sort of maybe get away with a little bit more button mashing than in this game. So yeah.
Will never die.
The legend will never die. So that was Soul Blade for you guys. I will be doing Soul Calibur soon. That I will probably start recording that in a little bit. I have other stuff that I have to do first. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This has been Johnny Crimson 2000. Look forward to Soul Calibur very soon. And I will see you guys later. Alright, peace out. As always, if you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to get more stuff from me. In the meantime, if you like my videos, be sure to find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Raptr, and Screwattack.com to see the other gaming related content that I upload. Info is in the description. Who knows? Maybe you'll like my stuff. Maybe. Maybe.